Okay, y'all, so we're gonna start with the box prep. Here I have some masking tape, some scissors, and for the paper mache bit, you see my bag, paintbrush, and some water. It's just tap water, but it's in a bottle. First, I'm going to seal the bottom of this box shut. This box was sitting outside my house. It delivered some air filters, and then it got wet in the rain, but it was only a little bit soggy. The box is like the perfect shape for my kids' Lego area, which is why I really wanted to repurpose this box anyways. It just takes a little bit of Elmer's glue or any sort of like liquid glue, I guess, and some water, paintbrush, a little bit of time and TLC, and you'll have the perfect thing, okay? So we're just, like I said, prepping this box. We got to tape it down, make it a little bit secure, but don't worry, because the glue paper mache mixture will actually hold the box really firmly. So this is just the foundation. It's okay, so let's keep going. We want to make sure that our seams are closed so that when we are working, we don't have any accidents or any situations we have to deal with. Okay, so I'm gonna flip the box over. There's this corner that's not super great, so I'm gonna assemble the corner. Oh look, see the water on the box? That's from when it was outside. You know, it's nice to have delivery, doorstep delivery, so I'm happy no matter what. All right, so we're patching this corner together. We're gonna use some more tape. I decided to use the masking tape instead of like a clear packing tape because it's paper. We're doing paper mache. I thought it would just hold better and provide a little bit of texture for the paper mache to stick to also. Oh look, you see, you can tell that it is a filter box. Okay, so luckily the filters were wrapped in plastic casing, so the filters were not damaged at all. The box just got a little bumps and bruises, but we're gonna fix that right up, right? Okay, so we're still taping the seam a little bit together. We're paying attention to what's going on. The little bits of tape are great, you know, do it how you wanna do it. This is just my way of what I decided to do. Like I said, I have this space that's about the size of this box where my kid keeps the Legos, and it's in 2 different containers. So the purpose of this is that I'm going to have more space or organize a little bit better. Things are going to be less clunky in my house. So here we are, we're observing the box, right? And now we're going to cut the tops off. We're just going to use the scissors carefully. These are pretty sharp scissors. That's why they can cut the cardboard so nicely. Just be careful when you're doing this, you know, accidents happen, and let's do our best to make sure we keep ourselves safe when working with sharp objects. We're just gonna cut these 4 flaps off the top, okay? That's what we're working on right now. We got 1 done. Here's the next one. Okay, cut. All right, let's go. Yep, it's a little bit tough, so you might have to do that 2-hand grip. All right, let's keep going. Cutting, it's perfect. All right, so we're halfway done with the cut jab. We got 2 more pieces left to go. All right, oops. And all right, so now we're cutting the 3rd flap off of this box. The box is a little bit long, probably close to 24 inches. And again, I think that is really the great shape for the situation I'm trying to conquer. You know, when you have too many things in the house or too many things that are like similar, you gotta like put them together. And you could go out and buy something, but I'm not sure I could easily find something that's exactly like this size. So this box appeared on my doorstep, and I'm happy to just use it. So here we are, cutting off this 4th flap. Okay, I remember last time I said cutting job, but it sounded like I said cutting jab. So anyways, this is the last bit of our cutting job. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and we are done. Look at that. This box is almost prepared. In the middle, I'm going to put a piece of cardboard down and tape it also, just to sort of reinforce that middle seam. Legos are not super heavy or building bricks of any sort, but we definitely want to make sure it's secure and that nothing's going to fall through in some funny way. So I'm just going to tape up this middle chunk that I added. It's one of the flaps that we cut off. And I'm also going to tape this corner side. You see it there. Okay, so we're going to tape this corner side to make sure that we're preparing the box properly before we get started, right? Once we get started, we won't really be able to make any additional interior cosmetic corrections. So we just want to be as prepared as possible with the best foundation, right? A good foundation is how we have a good end result. All right, so with a little bit more tape, here we go. We're about done with this part of it. All right, so now that the box is fully prepared, you can see I've taped all the way around the inside of the box. Now it's time to prepare the paper mache strips. I have 2 types of paper bags that I received this week from shopping, and I'm gonna use those for my materials. If you are paper macheing something small like a balloon, maybe it's recommended to use pieces that are like no bigger than 1 inch by 1 inch in size. However, we're gonna work on this huge box today, so I think that larger pieces are great for this project. So we're just gonna tear all these paper bags apart into some sort of uniform looking strips. It doesn't really matter. But like I said, I think the bigger strips are a little bit better to use than, say, smaller strips, all right? And again, these shopping bags are just something that came into my life. They're not something I went out and was looking for. So this whole project, like I said, the box appeared on my door, the shopping bags as a result of going through life normally. We had some glue laying around. So for me, I didn't have to add a pocket, anything additional for this project, right? And so we're just gonna keep tearing these papers. You know, I hope that you're having fun hanging out with me. I'm having fun hanging out with you. I love to keep my hands busy. I don't know what it is about it. These projects are my most favorite thing to do outside of hanging out with my kid, right? So here we are, we're tearing some more bags, and I'm not really sure how many bags I used. Probably like 7, maybe a little bit less, right? So it's just what you need for your project. And this is a pretty big box. Your box doesn't have to be as big as my box, or your box could be bigger. You could be completely doing some other sort of paper mache thing. And these techniques will work for just about anything. Now, the only difference, again, that you have to remember is that if you're going to be paper macheing something big, use larger pieces of paper. And if you're going to use a paper mache something small, you're going to want to use smaller pieces of paper. One time I did use recently paper mache made with flour and water, and I can just tell you that that was a whole big mess. Again, the flour was just something I happened to have in my cupboard, and the water right from the faucet, so it was just readily available. I thought I would give it a try. I did that for my kid's 4th birthday. We had a space-themed birthday. I made a piñata with the flour and the water, paper mache, and I made little planets for each kid to have. But it was a lot, and it was a mess, and the flour is gross. I found out that the glue is probably a superior way to do it, and I think that the glue is pretty good. It has a great finish. You can paint it if you want to afterwards. So here we are. We're just tearing the paper. It's kind of fun to tear the paper. It's kind of cathartic. If you're upset, it might be a good way to help blow some steam off. you know, who cares about some paper? You're just gonna keep tearing the paper, baby, okay? You just keep going on. You're doing a good job. I'm just working with it. You know, I spent a lot of time doing this project the first time, and it looks like I'm spending a lot of time narrating the project too. But that's all right, because the only way to finish something is to get started, right? So what is it that they say? That the journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step, okay? So every time I do paper mache, halfway through, I might regret my decision that I even started, because it just seems like it's never going to end. And even last year for my kids' party, after I did all the decorations out of paper mache, I swore I was never going to do paper mache again. And here we are. It's about a year later, so I guess all of my stress from that project has vanished from recent memory, and I'm doing it again, okay? So we're just gonna tear that paper until we're done, and here we go. All right, so I don't have an exact measurement for you. Maybe it's 1-to-1, 1 part glue to 1 part water. Maybe it's 1 part glue to 2 parts water. We're just gonna mix that glue and that water together. Mix, mix, mix. Now that the glue is mixed, we can apply it to the box. I decided to start with the weakest area first, being that corner seam. I'm just liberally applying this glue mixture to the box. Water and glue being painted on. You could use your fingers if you want to. Later on, I start using my fingers. I think the process starts to get a little tedious for me. But like I said, once you're in it, you gotta finish. The only way to finish a journey of 1,000 miles is to take those steps. Here we are. There I go. Every once in a while, or maybe frequently, I'll decide to tear the strips to size, but they're nice and chunky, so they're gonna cover a good amount. And every surface of the box is a little bit different, so it might require something a different size. That's again why I like the paper mache, is because you can sort of tear to fit. And so you're just gonna rub the paper on the glue and then paint a layer of glue over the paper. So now the paper has glue on the bottom, glue on the top. That's really gonna help seal it in, okay? So we're just gonna work like that, okay? So paint the glue, apply the paper, paint more glue over the paper, and then apply more paper. But the very last thing will be glue on top. It should never just be paper on top. It should always be finished with a layer of glue for added performance, durability, you know? So we're just gonna paint and paint and paint. And it turns out pretty nice. So if you just stick with it, you know, you will have a nice project at the end too. And liberally apply that glue, okay? You got it. Just keep going. One of the things you have to remember is that the middle is always messy. And while this isn't exactly the middle, I think it's the start of the middle. So let's keep on going here. We're just gonna paint that glue and apply that paper. Paint that glue and apply that paper. Yeah, there we go. Kind of measure it out, right? And your box obviously will not look like my box. So at some point, you're going to have to use your own judgment. If you can see, I taped the other 3 pieces of cardboard together to use as kind of like a platform or a base to help not get glue in my rug. And that's something you might want to consider also, is how are you going to keep your workstation clean and where are you going to do it at? Look at all that glue just up there, that paintbrush. Glue, glue, glue. I remember playing with glue as a kid. There used to be those plastic pencil boxes with the divots on the inside. And I remember filling them up with glue and just letting that glue dry. And I don't remember the glue ever being sticky once it dries. The reason I don't do this with Mache is every time I'm done using Mache, it has like a sticky finish to it, which to me means that it's not finished. So I think craft glue is gonna be like your best bet, your white sort of glue paste for sure. All right, so you're gonna paper mache all the way around your box. I have managed to make it a couple of sides, and I'm gonna do the bottom of it. In some way, I got bored with the paintbrush application, so I'm pouring my glue mixture onto my box and spreading it with my fingers and going from there. It's a little bit more efficient for me in this way. Maybe if I had a thicker paintbrush, I wouldn't feel this way. But either way, there's no wrong way to paper mache. Okay, so keep going with your glue water mixture. You just want to get the glue on both sides of the paper. I have made several batches of glue water at this time, still with my 1 bottle of glue. So the project is still super affordable at this stage, and will continue to be so because I've spent exactly $0 on this. And so again, we're just smearing the glue. We're gonna layer the paper over each other. We don't want any empty pieces of box, okay? So just keep spreading that glue around. It's a fun to play with your fingers and some liquidy goop, right? So we're just gonna keep going. Paper mache, paper mache. Glue, glue, glue. Where are we putting this one? Oh, right there. Okay. Sorry, that corner is a little bit off camera. You can only do so much with a phone stand, right? All right, so we're just keeping our momentum over here. All right, so now we have this corner and we can spread that glue. If anything's bubbling up, feel free to put a new piece of paper mache over it if you feel like that will tighten the edges. I wrap the corner boxes like you would wrap presents. That way it's the cutest way, this most seamless way possible. I don't know if that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. I just did glue and the paper and the glue and the paper, and we're going to cover this whole box right up, okay? So just keep it neat, keep it nice. That's what we want to do, because in the end we want a nice project. We don't want our clutter-free area looking a little messy, right? So let's keep it nice, keep going, get that glue, get that water, keep doing the mixing. See, I'm running out of glue again, so I'm just gonna make some more glue water here in just a moment. But until I'm ready, I'm gonna keep using the glue that you can see on the box. All right, so glue paper, glue paper. Do you feel like you regret your decision to start the project yet? Either you're a finisher or a quitter, and this is when you know what you are. Are you gonna keep going or are you gonna quit? Because I kept going. I'm a finisher. Are you a finisher? All right, well, I hope you're a finisher. I hope that you can enjoy paper macheing with me. I'm just gonna keep going until we have a finished project, okay? There's no wrong way to paper mache, like I said previously. And we're just gonna keep applying that paper until you're done. Once you're done applying the paper, you wanna let your box out to dry before you start to use it for anything, okay? So the box needs to dry completely. But once it's dry, then you can use it for your intended purposes, all right? So keep up the good work.